Hey there. In our last video, we talked about the big fear of high yield investing, and that is the falling NAV, specifically the falling stock chart. But we solved that problem. We found a possible portfolio that won't go down at all and still pays us some good money. But in this video, we're going to talk about, is it really that bad? Is it really the end of the world? Is a falling stock chart Armageddon? Well, it's a worst nightmare. There's no doubt about it, right? People who haven't looked into it, they hear dividend yields of 10, 15, 50, 100%, and they immediately think what? Stock chart price is going down and it'll grind it to zero and we'll lose all our money. And here is an actual chart from QYLD. Now, QYLD, as you probably know, is the king. Not the king because it's necessarily good, but the king because it's been around the longest. QYLD has been around since 2014, so it's a great example because most of these high yield things are a year old or not even, maybe a few months old, and more are coming out. So if we really want to look back at different market conditions or see how something like this will perform, let's go back to 2014 with QYLD. And as you can see, it is the worst nightmare, right? Down. Oh, it's coming back. Grinding down. 2020, down. Made its way back. Huge drop during the bear market. Although not as bad as it appears on this chart. But anyway, down in the bear market, and it's been grinding our way back up. But from beginning to end, you can see it's going downward. Which means, of course, that covered call funds are pure trash. Ow, that hurts. Every time that hurts. Okay. That's the big problem. That's why people will ridicule you if you're interested. That's why we're all afraid. What if we choose, and the famous words are, yield trap, right? It's a yield trap. You're only allowed to have a dividend that's 1%. Anything over is a yield trap. Well, that's not necessarily true, but people love to say yield trap. And, well, they say it because sometimes it is true. That's the problem. But not every time. Okay, so what if the stock chart goes down? Well, we're talking about that. What if the distribution gets cut? Now, there's what really matters. If we are income investors, if we're tired of losing streaks and multi-month drawdowns, etc., it's the distribution that really matters. Chart doesn't really matter. If we got paid, it doesn't matter what in the heck it says on our trading view or whatever we use, right? But if one or both of these things happen, how will we survive? Well, again, here's that chart, right? This is exactly the nightmare. So are we done for, right? Well, as I mentioned, it's one of the original covered call funds. It goes back the longest. It's very robotic. So there's no chance, at least until they change their strategy, it it sells covered calls exactly the same way no matter what's happening. And that's why you see that grinding downward. Are there ways to not let the stock chart drop? Yeah, of course. And many are doing that. But this one didn't. It's been the same for a long time, right? And it's gone down. Now, we know the stock chart fell. This is when all dividends and distributions are reinvested. So let's say we suffered this. We've been in all along, but we reinvested. We didn't need the money. Okay? We didn't need the money. We're going to hold it for 8, 9, 10, 11 years. And after we've held it for a decade or more and it's snowballed up, then at that point, maybe we'll consider taking all or at least part. It's usually smarter just to take a portion of it so we can keep building. But let's say we waited, okay? That's what this example is. So we started at, again, on a hypothetical $10,000 account. Well, we started at 10%. We're cranking. It stayed very solid, right? Regardless of the chart. Then it jumped up, and then it started really growing through 2021. Fell back a little, but then started growing again, and 2024 isn't over yet. So look what's happened with this terrible chart. If we were just going to reinvest for an X amount of years and then start taking money, it's gone up. We've actually have the potential to withdraw more money at the end than we did at the start, even though the stock chart is terrible. Okay? But what if we needed the money now and we started this back in 2014? Well, again, we'd start at our 1,000. Again, all dividends and distributions were withdrawn. So we're taking every penny that this provides, every penny of premium the covered calls create, we're going to take it and put it in our pockets. So started at 1,000, dropped down near 800, dipped under, way above, and then look, it stayed solid right at that $800 level on a hypothetical 10,000, and 2024 isn't over yet. So just think about this. Let's say, hypothetically, of course, we had $1 million, right? That's that magic number. And we only had QYLD, which of course we don't. We could have pulled a salary, 100 grand out first year, right? Then about 80 something grand, 80 grand, 70 something, 77 grand, back up to 100 and so forth, right? At no point, except for 2017, if we had $1 million and we just let it ride, even if the chart is falling and we just let it ride, we never dip below an $80,000 hypothetical year salary. Okay, just adding zeros so we have something to think about. And 2024 is down, but again, we still have some money possibly coming to us. Okay, falling chart. We would have been fine for how many years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the 11th year. Now let's compare that to something much better. McDonald's. Big Macs, filet of fish. Well, not Big Macs when I had their health scare. But anyway, here is McDonald's. And it's a fantastic stock and has been since I can remember, or you can look up. Here's 2014. Let's compare these charts. Yeah! That's awesome, is it not? This is what we want to see, right? And it's a dividend stock. And it raises dividends just about every year, right? If not, I think I have quite a long streak. McDonald's does, right? So it raises dividends every year. The stock, I mean, this is nirvana. This is the way we want to live. And yep, look at this. Woohoo! That's the dividend snowball. That's what you see on YouTube. That's what everyone is selling us. The positive dividend snowball. It gets more every year, and we are set for life. Except for one thing. Look at the actual number. I'm sorry if it's blurry, but that's 0, 100, 200, 300. What were we getting with QYLD? 1,000. What are we getting here? 300. Okay? Now, this is pulling dividends out also, right? We're withdrawn. And even though they're getting bigger, at no point in the past 11 years, at no point has it reached the green line. Remember, we never really dipped below 800 except for momentarily that 1 year in QYLD. We're not even there yet. 11 years. And McDonald's has not caught up yet. With that stock chart, with a growing dividend, with everything we're told to want, it hasn't measured up yet, right? Bottom line, it would be great if everything went up. It's just psychologically pleasing, right? But if the yield and the income and the payments, if they stay relatively consistent, does the chart matter? I mean, MCD McDonald's is better in every way that we're told to like things. But McDonald's wouldn't have paid our bills, wouldn't have made that 80 grand for 11 years and counting. And who knows when it's going to get there. Probably in the next couple years. But do we really want to wait 11 years? Something to think about, right? If you want more like this, of course, you can always leave a comment. And as I mentioned, I've started a dividend income program, DIP. There'll be information in the description. All right, we'll be back next time with more high yield talk. Bye for now.